Alright, here we are, Fun Education Network, coming to you outside, in nature, allowing you to, get outside of the typical home, or even the typical classroom. Your children need to learn about nature, and that's one of the great things that should be taught in school. So if they don't teach it in school, I say definitely teach it here. So here we are in the back of the place that I stay in, and it's a garden that we put together probably May, late May, early June. I forgot the real time period, but started off kind of shaky. I was like, my squash aren't growing, and the reason why my squash weren't growing were probably most likely because of the lack of water. It needs a lot of water, I see, and that's what I've noticed. And if it gets too much sun, then it'll dry out the soil. And if it needs, like squash needs a lot of water. I mean, any plant really needs a lot of water. Not to the point that you drown it. I mean, you have to understand that with too much of anything, just like with a human, if you give them too much water, then they'll die. So just understand that. But here it is. I'll let you see it. We have the garden. Let me post it the right way. So here's the garden, and I have tomatoes, and I have squash, and as you can see, I'm gonna get into more detail as we get closer. But I just want to, let you see some of the stuff that I am growing. Here's right here, squash. You have the crookneck squash, which are the yellow squash, and then I have the zucchini squash, and I'll show you some of those now. Some of these do have blooms on them, and blooms basically, what our children don't know, they don't know that a flower comes out, and if anything, if I'm gonna have a flower, give me like a plant, something that has fruit, not a rose. Give me a squash flower, or a squash bloom. And let me show you an example of a squash bloom. It's pretty, beautiful flower. See, you can see. So that's right there is an example of a squash bloom, which is yellow, and you can eat these. So you can eat these. Now I'm gonna show you one of the squash that are growing. Can you see that squash? Nah, you can't really see that squash. But as we get a closer look, you see a squash. Let me aim it right. So there's a squash that's growing in with some of those blooms. If you can look hard enough, it's sitting on the ground right there. So, there it is right there. So I'm gonna have me a little squash right there. I had one, it kind of grew kind of big. I was excited. But also, if you look at the tomato plant also has a bloom, and it's right there. So it has a bloom, which is a white flower, and it's just wonderful to see how nature works. And I think that's the best way to truly teach a child how to grow anything. I have some other plants, and I'll show that on a later video. But definitely, I must say, take your child outside. Oh, also, you can see some of the blooms on here. You can see let's see if I can pull it out. So, well, I can't really capture it right now, but you can see a very small squash bloom here. And I'll turn it so that you all can see it. So that's a little bit of squash right there, and this one right here is a squash. It's a baby squash. All right. As you can see, some of the blossoms are still on there. So hopefully you enjoy. I definitely say go out and find, if you have land. I mean, even if you don't have land, you could definitely do it just like this. This is in a pot. You can do it in a pot, but teach your child how to grow something. Teach them about how you have to separate the grass. You can't have too much clutter. I mean, so that's the concept that I have. You can't have too much clutter. So you have to pull those weeds out. Just like in your mind, you got to pull that information out that's unimportant. Like the videos and the movies that are out right now. So just tell them those things. And then after you do all of that, your soil is ready to be, your soil is ready for a plant. So you pull all the weeds out. turn that soil, turn it around, and just, get everything out, pick everything out, and then you drop a seed, dig a hole, drop a seed, and watch it grow. Just watch it grow, and that's a wonderful experience. So hopefully you enjoyed this. This is Education Starts at Home, and also Fun Education Network. Peace, love, and we out.